Well, I have a revolutionary product that I want to share with you today. Friends, if you are dealing with any sort of pain, any sort of suffering, have you ever made any promises, maybe to your spouse or maybe even to yourself? You might go through this self-sabotage sometimes every evening, sometimes every Friday. Sometimes it's just hard to even get the day started. Well, friends, if this sounds like you at any capacity at all, guess what? I have invented the magic pill. That's right. If you take two of these pills every meal, all your problems are going to go away. Don't take my word for it. Go check out all the reviews. See for yourself. No, I'm just kidding. There's absolutely nothing in life that works that way. Nothing. Well, what does work? How do we get results for anything? Discipline, determination, consistency. But there's also a few other things that make that process quite a bit easier. Listen, I don't want to come across like I'm some kind of guru. I was born with, a high IQ, and my life the way that it is now has just always been this way. I've been through two divorces. I was a very severe alcoholic for many years, basically right out of high school. And after the second divorce, right at the beginning of the separation, I realized that I was the problem. And I began to just obsess about my relationship with God. And for a year straight, I began to pray and thank God every day for clarity in my thoughts. I knew that He could change thought patterns and allow me to see things a little bit clearer than the average person. And I believe that it worked. I believe that it gave me the ability to see things and understand things a little bit different. And one of the things that I began to see was there are people out there that can tell you that Bible front to back. You can go to church every Sunday, put your hands up, serve. You can just immerse yourself in serving and worshiping and everything and still be pretty miserable and empty inside. And so I was able to witness that with quite a few people, and I was able to recognize the pattern, and it made absolutely no sense to me, and I had to figure out why that is. One of the things that I began to realize is as I began to study this stuff, and it's biblical, but a lot of folks just tend to overlook this. And it comes down to our thoughts. All right, let's say we've got a series of affirmations that we're going through every morning, right? So I did that. All right, we got to go through affirmations. We've got to have our vision board, and we've got to have, you know, our gratitude journal, right? So I did all that. There was still something missing, right? I'm bulldozing my way through business, right? Get it done no matter what. Still something missing. I'm a really good husband, right? Made some major mistakes with the first two kids, made peace with that. Pretty dang good with Isabel, really good with Rachel. There was still something missing. And so, in order to be able to break through that ceiling, in order to be able to figure out, God, all right, we got a little bit of money. We've bought back some time here. What the heck is going on? And I started discovering that if you do not go through a process of internal healing, you can bulldoze your way to the top. Everything on the exterior can just look amazing. You can be a YouTube superstar. Everything's great. But until you go through that healing, it means nothing. I'm telling you, I've met some really wealthy people. There's some people that we serve on a regular basis, our customers with these enormous yachts. And they are some of the most miserable people. Not all of them, but a few. Probably the wealthiest guy that I had the opportunity of getting pretty close to. The wealthiest guy. I can't mention anything about him, but other than the closer, I didn't even really have to get that close to realize, wow, this guy is an emotional wreck. We ended up not working together for that reason. I knew that it was going to become a major problem, but for the people in my immediate circle, I really do my best to try to teach this. I try to lead with this. I try to help them to see that once we go through this healing process, then you begin to feel whole, content, free. When I went through it, and by the way, it never really ends. It's a process that you have to go through every day. You have to become really, really aware of your thoughts. But when I first started practicing this, I was making the bed and I was going through some thoughts. I was rewiring some thoughts about my dad. And what I had to do was I had to identify and forgive for every single thing that he said, every single thing that he did. And as I began to do that, my body literally felt lighter. As I was doing this, and this was, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago. As I'm making the bed, I'm crying, saying all these things in my mind, identifying every single thing that he said and that he did. And I am just forgiving in love. And I could literally feel this weight come off my shoulders. When you do that for the person, for the people, and for yourself, this whole people-pleasing obsession that a lot of us have, you're able to let that go. You're able to gain some control with that. The next thing is being able to forgive yourself. There's things that you've done in your past that you are being reminded of, which, by the way, it's not you reminding yourself of that. It's not you beating yourself up about that. We live in a spiritual battle. Whether you believe in God, whether you've accepted God or not, you're in a spiritual battle every day. And by the way, it never turns off. You wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, he's going to be right there. And that's how much control you have to have of these thoughts. When you practice becoming aware of every single thought to the point to when you're reminded of those things that you did to him or her or your daughter or your son, your wife, whoever it may be, and you're able to forgive yourself for that every single time the thought passes through. Now we're able to begin to experience what that healing feels like. Now, this is just a little glimpse. It's deep. It's deep. But when you begin to practice this and you begin to truly on a subconscious level, like these become your dominant thoughts, truly believing and seeing and loving yourself the way that God loves you. Imagine that. Imagine if you can look yourself in the mirror and think about yourself, see yourself the way that God sees you. Because that's who you are. The way that he sees us is actually who we are, not who we're becoming. Think about that. If God loves and cherishes us as much as he says he does, which of course he does, every word in there is true, why don't we? There's a reason for that. We've been programmed to see ourselves a certain way, and it's all a bunch of crap. And when we rewire this stuff about ourselves, it is a whole nother level of life that you never thought possible. You can walk through your day and genuinely love yourself, look in the mirror, and realize that you are freaking amazing, just like God says you are. Today. Not after you accomplish all the things. Whatever you're going through right now, you're still amazing. You're still worthy. You're still loved. You're still smart. You're still beautiful. I'm a pretty good looking guy. But you wouldn't believe the stuff that I used to say about myself in my mind. My wife, she's smoking hot. The things that she used to say to herself, it is nuts. What are you talking about? So guys, I hope this brings you some value in some kind of way. I can promise you from experience, if you begin to look into this, and listen, if you've got any questions about it, if you want to get on a call, if you want to text about it, let me know. I'm here to answer any questions. I'm here to help as much as I absolutely can. I love helping. I love serving as much as my time will allow. And I can tell you, it has truly been the reason why I'm the husband that I am, why I'm the parent that I am. The guys on our team that work with us on all these yachts, they'll tell you. But it's only because I feel love about myself. You can't give what you don't have inside of you. You can go through the affirmations all day long, but until you feel that you are, that I am, till you feel that, until you believe that subconsciously, no matter what Satan says to you, you're not going to be able to give it. So again, this is deep. This I could really go on about this for several hours, but for the sake of our ability to really pay attention to this stuff and to honor your time, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy sharing this stuff with you guys. We'll see you soon.